a new client, and I wanted to talk about micro communities and SEO for specifically for real estate, and how to get low-hanging fruit for real estate leads and everything. So this site has been just recently redone. The theme on the site is Themify, um, and the SEO plugin is Rank Math. We tend to like that more than Yoast. And the reason being, a green on Yoast is usually a 60% on Rank Math. So Rank Math just kind of forces you to get a little higher rankings. So one of the things that we do is if you look at residential, and then the one that I have pre-done a little bit is Everett. Okay, and then you notice in Everett, we have man, I'm going to turn that off while I do this video. I'll turn that off in a second, is that we have Delta. And so usually what we want to do for example, in the Everett area is I just want to have the Everett neighborhoods on this. So that means that we're going to have to edit this page to just do the Everett neighborhoods. So one of the things I need to do though is I need to find out what communities are there in Everett. Everett neighborhood. Actually, we're gonna have to do map, but just neighborhood. Okay, and you can kind of see, like you could look at a map. It doesn't matter kind of whatever way, but if you like, this goes all the way up to Snohomish, so I really don't want to use that one. I do like to use a specific website, and that website I tend to like to use is Nextdoor. And the reason why is because they do a really good job of mapping certain areas out. So you could just go to Nextdoor, type in Washington and then Everett or whatever state you're in, and then whatever city you want to use, and then you get a whole bunch of neighborhoods. Now, the reason why I want to do this is because, as far as I could tell, no other agent really does this that much. They do a little bit, but they don't actually make all of these pages. And the thing is that for example, if you were in Everett and relocating to Everett, then you might look, I want to live in Glacier View. Or if you're looking for a school zone and you know what neighborhood's in that school zone as you do your research, then you're going to start finding micro searches for these areas. And so what I want to do, like for example, Delta, and honestly, I live very close to Everett and I've never heard of Delta. So they kind of break this down fairly well, and it allows us to start ranking for all 70 of these areas without having to do a lot of SEO. Because again, nobody else is putting this stuff out there, and if you're the only one, then it's fairly easy. And then if somebody starts copying you, then you can add content to the page. But until then, we're just going to do listings. So here is the Everett page, and the first thing that we need to do is we need to kind of fix the menu situation. So log into WordPress and then go to dashboard, and then what we're going to do is go to appearance and then menus, and then we're going to, I just want to make sure I didn't create one, create a new menu. And you're going to do this for every single area on your website. So Everett, and then hit create menu. Okay, now the first thing that I usually do is, because I don't like having nothing on a menu while you're building this out, and you can build this out live since it's not going to be that big of a deal, is that I'm going to go to the Everett page. I'm going to click on the two items that I already have and then add them to that. Now, I don't want to add too much home for sale and Everett. That's actually fine to keep one of them, but the rest of them, just remove the homes for sale and just have Delta. Again, just because you don't want to over optimize the pages. Other than that, you will be fine. Okay, so now that we have this menu and the menu has been saved, I'm going to click save again just to be sure. Then what we want to do is go to pages and all pages. You can either way scroll down to find Everett homes for sale or homes for sale Everett. you can find that, or you could search for it, but I just tend to find it. So what you're looking at here is structure hierarchy. So Snohomish Homes is what we call on the website the residential section. So we're breaking the website because this particular agent does commercial and residential. We've broken the whole entire site out specifically for commercial and residential. So instead of having Snohomish County homes up here, we just have residential and commercial, and then let the SEO go on this site. So under residential, then you have all of these areas, which would be Arlington and then Everett. So that is the hierarchy that we want to stick with. It's called siloing, and what we're doing is, if you kind of open up a bag of M&Ms, we're color coding the M&Ms. So all the green ones are together, all the blue ones are together. So we're going to work with the M&M bag of Everett. So we are going to edit the Everett page. And this will happen to be done for Edmonds, Darrington, all of the other pages. This still will have to be done. The next item that we do is that we're using the Themify Builder. You could do this in either way. You could scroll up to the top and use the builder, or you could just click on page appearance down here and change the items. The Themify Builder is where you can edit stuff. So you can either do it in the front end or back end, but if you're just changing the menu out, say in Darrington, because you're doing the same thing, then I just want you to change the menu on this side. Now, if you're using the Divi Builder, you could do the same thing. You can create a specific widget and then add that widget into appearances, and then label that widget whatever you want, and then add that widget here. In Themify, you add the menu module has been already added. We duplicate pages, so it's fairly easy to move on. There are a couple of plugins that can do this as well. I know that WordPress is kind of finicky sometimes with themes are kind of finicky of what you can do. If you have a theme that you can add a menu on anywhere on the website, then that's always a great theme. Elementor can do it, Beaver Builder can do it, Themify can do it, it's Themify theme. Divi can do it. I actually like Divi a little bit better. That's just my personal choice. So I'm going to hit edit here, and then I'm going to leave residential real estate. You could type in Everett real estate. You can actually just remove the title, and then I'm going to go to Everett. So now Everett's going to have its own menu the moment I hit save. So the Everett page will drop all of the other areas, and it will just be Everett. Okay, so and now that the Everett page is updated, and I'm going to right click on it and view the update. So now that it's just Everett and Delta, which is exactly what we want. Man, I need to turn that off. Everett and Delta, and that's what we want. So what we have to do is we have to now do this on the Delta page as well. This would, I think, be the only time that we have to go back, just because this is the one that I did and I just redesigned this website. So now we go to Delta and then we hit edit. And again, this is just good to know of how to do things. And if you notice the naming convention, we have the root URL, then we switch from commercial to residential. So we have it under residential. Then we have the major city, and then we have the Delta Homes for Sale. So anywhere throughout the URL structure, we're not going to have like Everett Homes for Sale / Delta Homes for Sale. We're just going to have Everett and then Homes for Sale. Google is smart enough to know that we're talking about residential real estate, and the keywords in there tell it that we're doing homes for sale in Everett, and Delta is going to build authority for the Everett Homes for Sale. That's a lot, but that's how that works. So we're going to click edit here, and again, I didn't even add a menu, so now I'm just going to hit Everett and then done, and then now the Delta Homes for Sale page is done. Now here is the tricky part. You can, at this moment, since I know that the Everett page is set up correctly with its correct menu, and the Delta page is set up correctly with its correct menu. I will turn that off in a second. With its correct menu. Now what we want to do is we want to add other areas. And what we're doing is we are copying what Nextdoor has in iHomeFinder. And we like iHomeFinder because all of these listings show us content. And when they show us content, it helps the SEO a little bit more. So that's that's why we like to use iHome Finder. So, okay, now what we want to do is we want to go to Optima Express and then go to the control panel. And since you're logged into the website, iHome Finder will auto log you into the back end of their website. You don't have to fill anything, just kind of sit, wait, chill out, grab a cup of coffee. Okay, so now we're going to go to Markets. And then with the Nextdoor page, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick on Iverson Park. No idea, never heard of. I don't even know where this is at in Everett. Okay, so Iverson Park is right there. It's really nice that it's built out for you. You could see where the lines are. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Markets. And again, you can kind of move these around. I tend to like to put Markets next to Nextdoor just so I can kind of go back and forth. Go ahead and copy Iverson Park, add a market, and then just paste Iverson Park. You could put in homes for sale. I think I just do this out of habit at this moment. You can try and just type in Iverson Park and see if anything auto fills. And it doesn't look like anything's going to. What I'm going to do is erase what's there and type in Iverson. So it actually gives addresses of listings, but it doesn't give me the actual park. So what that means is that I am going to have to scroll down, find Everett, which is right there, and then kind of go back and forth between the maps. So it's on I-5 next to Silver Lake. So if I go over here, and there's I-5, there's Silver Lake. And again, you kind of get used to where things are on the map as you do them. So there's Silver Lake, and then go back a little bit more, and then it's just this whole section right here. And so and that's kind of how I do it. I know it kind of gives a little bit of false positives, but what I've found is that sometimes real estate agents don't type in the right address, or it doesn't geolocate correctly, so give it more of a wide berth than you normally would. We're going to click to draw, and just a simple square. You don't have to get all fancy. You don't have to do it like Nextdoor does. Nextdoor actually does all of this. Don't do any of that. Just make a square. It'd be easier. And then that's that. So the funny thing is, when I typed in Iverson, it actually said that there were listings there. And then now when I click on Iverson Park, it doesn't say that there's any listings. You can, if you want to, remove the polygon and try again, and then again give it even a wider berth. If things are wrong, I usually don't hear a lot about people complaining to real estate agents that it's off, just because what I'm trying to do is actually show some form of listings. And so we could do, and you can actually click everything in here. Not that there's going to be a farm in that area. You can click everything, price ranges, no min, no max, that's already done. And so that's it. So there just isn't any listings in that section of the map, which is okay. My curiosity then is, where is Iverson Drive? You can look at that if you really want to. A lot of times I'm just asking for, because it's sold, that's why. So there's actually no listings in that area, and that's because they're all sold, and that's totally fine. So Iverson's done, just hit save. And then the trick I do on this is I pull up I use Sublime Text, but I pull up a Notepad or anything to keep code on. Like this is Sublime Text, Notepad++. And the reason why is because I like to use the same shortcode I'm using everywhere. I've done the shortcode once. The only thing you have to do is just change the number, and then you're fine. So if I hit edit here is the shortcode. And then I paste that there. Now, for pages without any information on them, any original content, I like to change it to list. And the reason why I like to change it to list is because there's more content on the page. So when I hit done and hit update, this may go up and it may not, but 77 is pretty good for not actually doing anything. So yeah, 80, and all I did was change it from list to grid to list. So that is better, and you can see the difference between the two. So it had the map and then the listings there, and now it has the listings like this, which is just a little bit more content, which then pushes it up to 80. So it's worth doing. So now that we have Delta done, and now that we have the code, that's the whole entire process. What we do is we just click duplicate. Okay, now this page is duplicated. Just scroll down until you find the Delta page in a draft, and then just hit edit. Okay, and I'm a fan of copying and pasting, so I'm just going to come back here, hit copy. I'm going to hit save again just to make sure. And while that's saving, I'm going to go back over here and then just hit paste. And then same thing, just hit paste, hit OK, and then scroll down to this, hit edit. And then the only thing you're going to change is this number right here. So we come back over here, copy the number, go back to the page, paste in the number, switch to text, and then paste in the number so it doesn't mess it up. Paste in the number. So this is all the code. All you're doing is just replacing it between the two quotes, and then hit done, and then hit, oops, I forgot one more step. Copy the homes for sale again. The key phrases, go down to rank math, erase, paste, hit enter, hit edit snippet, again, paste. Now scroll up to the top and hit publish. Now there's one more thing that I want you to kind of make sure of, and that was the following. So under visual text, you saw a bunch of delta. That delta doesn't exist anymore. When it's updating, it seems to be smart enough to erase all of that information. I don't want any information up here. Everything should be in the builder. The other thing that I want you to worry about is the permalink down here. Again, most of the time you don't have to change it, but just a glance when you're done. And then the SEO score is going to be lower because there isn't any listings for sale in this area. So right click, hit open in a new tab and view the page. And then now you have this information. Oh, and I noticed that I forgot to change these words right here. So go back into the Iverson, highlight this. You could do this all in one fell swoop. When you hit edit text, just make sure you paste in Iverson Park homes for sale. Now that way the SEO went up to 62. There are no listings on it. That's as high as you're going to get, and that's okay. And then when we refresh this page, the Delta homes for sale, what's going to happen is that we're going to have a writer eventually come back around and put in content, but that's the bare minimum of SEO that you could possibly do. I know it looks funky that it's in there twice. Just leave it there, because when you add content in between it, I want you to be forced to come back and add the content. So that's why I want it to make it look funky for you, so that you would go back and add the content on your site. Now the last thing that needs to happen is go to appearance and then menus. I open it in a new tab. And you can do this at the end, or you could do it whenever you want. I tend to do it as I go along, just to keep track in my mind of all the ones that I've done. Again, erase the homes for sale, and then hit save menu. And then now on Iverson Park, you'll see that there is Iverson Park will load, and it does a really good job of automatically telling you what page that you're on. And we could change the colors and style that's all website. But that's how to go after very low-hanging fruit on the internet. So no other agents do this. It's really not that hard of work. You can knock all of this out in one day. That's basically how to optimize it. Technically, yes, you want to go back and add content to every single one of them. It has to be original content. It needs to be about 1,000 words. So take your time in doing that. But getting all of these pages up and running, you will get more leads quicker, because again, there's no one doing it. So that is how to add micro communities inside of WordPress using Themify, Rank Math, and iHome Finder, and how to increase internal linking. Because what we're doing here on this menu is we're increasing internal linking because every area is going to have its own menu. And why is this helpful, you ask? Because there is one company that does this all of the time. And this company is a large company. And so if you search something for on Amazon, they change their menu on the left-hand side. So since it works for Amazon, it should work for you as well. And this, again, builds authority and increases internal linking. There is a reason why they do it. And helps with users, because if you're in Everett and you're looking and you see, wow, there's all these areas I've never heard about, yeah, it helps the user search. So it's actually good for everyone, better in SEO. That's it. Have a good day.